Any election fraud is too much election fraud. If Democrats want us to stop talking about election fraud, I make them a simple deal. Pass the Save America Act and get voter ID, and we'll stop talking about election fraud.
Holy shit. He said what?
Need an ID to rent an apartment in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID if you're going to buy a house, finance it via a mortgage in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID in Texas if you're going to board an aircraft and fly commercial?
Yes.
Did you fly commercial or fly a private jet on the way to D.C.?
I chartered.
Do you have to show an ID when you fly in a private charter jet?
Yes.
So, did you need an ID to get in the building here today?
Yes.
Attention all aircraft, effective immediately. Palm Beach International Airport is officially President Donald J. Trump International Airport. President Donald J. Trump International Airport. ATIS information hotel, not print. Trump altimeter 3009.
That's what these next moments are just about. The next 4 months will be amongst the most gripping in the history of this country, and the follow through with the next couple of years. I don't think most people in this audience have even the tiniest inkling of just how dramatic the next 4 months will be. And the aftermath of that, the follow through. If I was to put us within a category of a storm system, the way hurricanes are gauged, we're probably in a category 2 right now. It's a bit tumultuous. We're going to go to a 6 or even a 7 over the next year. And it's going to be gripping.
President Trump, what is the effectiveness of last night's attack? What message does that send to what's left of the Iranian?
Which attack are you talking about?
The attack that you guys had on Iran last night. The strikes last night?
Oh, I think it has a tremendous impact. Well, first of all, we took out additional, they were trying to rebuild their radar, and they had about 60% built. Now they have to start all over again. Look, we're not attacking at the highest level. The highest level are the bridges, which we can knock down. I would say in one day we knocked down every single bridge in Iran. There's not a thing they can do about it. Their electric manufacturing facilities, right? Their electric plants where they make their electricity there. We will, if we have to, we'll take them out. I don't want to do that, but if we have to, we'll take them out. They have desalinization plants. We'll take them out if we have to. I hate to do that. That's probably the one I would like not to do least. We attacked Cargill Island last night. We knocked out a piece. I said, don't touch the oil, because maybe we'll take over Cargill Island. We may take over Cargill Island. There's not a thing they can do about it. But I said, don't hit the pipes. Just hit everything else. And they hit it. They may hit it again tonight. So, as for your question, normally I'm not that way, but they really deserve it because they're saying they want to make a deal, but they don't. They asked for a timeout. They wanted to go to the funeral of Khomeini, and I said, give it to them. And they start shooting missiles. I mean, it was the craziest thing. Now, we did kill him, so I guess you have to look at it that way.
We pride ourselves a lot on overtime around here, and we spend more time here than we do at home with our families. So being able to keep that money in our pocket and being able to utilize it a lot more is going to help out tremendously.
The tax cuts that in the Big Beautiful Bill are wonderful. We've been able to expand our business, and year to date we've added an extra 328 people. So we're super excited.
Those larger child tax credits are really beneficial. Just a massive blessing on a family.
I was happy to be able to give my employees a little bit more money at the end of the week.
It's really helped me be able to provide for my family better with more money coming in, so I'm very grateful for that.
When you start talking about Social Security, people sit up, pay attention, because guess what? They're either on it or they're going to be on it.
If we didn't have this tax deduction, it would be very tight.
One of the things I really like about the Big Beautiful Bill, being a senior, is that we get the $6,000 deduction per person or the $12,000 per couple.
Livestock indemnity program moving from 75% to 100%, compensating ranchers fairly for their losses for Mexican gray wolves. It's about time.
We certainly are noticing more money in the pockets of the working class.
You can reduce your tax burden by $10,000 for individuals, $20,000 for couples. So if you purchased an American-made car last year new, you just have to put your VIN number. So it's a great thing.
So the One Big Beautiful Bill had some things in it that you are personally benefiting from when it comes to taxes. Tell me about that.
That's true for millions of Americans.
We don't want to start a child care program ran by the federal government, so we think a tax credit and tax deductions is the better way to do it. So those are a couple of huge things we've got accomplished in this Working Family Tax Cuts Bill.
But the Working Families Tax Cuts give real relief to farmers so we can protect what we've built and pass it on to the next generation.
Thank you so much for passing this bill, for helping mothers like me be able to help our kids be more prepared for their future.
The tax cuts really do help everyday Americans like me and my little one here, who's 18 months.
For restaurant workers in Iowa alone, there's about $59 million that will be saved from federal income taxes in year one of no tax on tips.
I'm incredibly grateful not only for the inheritance tax being changed, but for all the other tax cuts and benefits coming from this bill.
I feel like I've been dealing with so many crazy accusations, either leveled at Erica or myself or the organization or whatever, anything except for Tyler Robinson in this process, that I haven't gotten a chance to articulate clearly what questions I still have outstanding that I want answers to. So here we go. Who knew what when? That's right. There is a lot of indication online that other people knew something was going to happen that day on September 10th. They posted on social media about it in really, really creepy ways. And none of those people have been held accountable, and I want to know why, and what did they know and when? Another question I want to know the answer to is, was Lance Twiggs more involved than we currently know, right? We know that he's been given limited immunity for his testimony. It's going to be video testimony in the preliminary hearing. But how much did he know, and how much did he radicalize Tyler Robinson? It seems, and I encourage everybody to go check it out, there's a Turkey Tom YouTube video where one of their friends that would hang out with them in their apartment seems to indicate that it was a really manic, disassociative, sort of morally corrupt, bankrupt environment that Tyler Robinson was living in, and Lance Twiggs seems to be the source for a lot of that. So did Tyler Robinson just do this crazy thing all on his own, or did Lance Twiggs put him up to it? Was he a co-conspirator? I want to know that, because if it comes out that he was a co-conspirator, I would love to see him held accountable for that and not be granted any immunity whatsoever. Another question I have is, where did Tyler Robinson go immediately after taking the shot, running off the rooftop, and tossing the gun into the forest? Where did he go? We know that the state has evidence that he was back on campus that night into the wee hours of September 11th, but where did he go immediately after? That's a big question. One of the questions that is really tough for me is, why were those darn rooftops so accessible? First of all, why set up a building where you can just like go over a railing and get on a rooftop? That's one question. Why were there not cops planted out there? That's another question. And why were there not people spotting those rooftops? Now, you might say, well, gee, Andrew, Turning Point had its own security. Well, guess what? The way you work with campuses is you only get to have immediate vicinity jurisdiction around the person that you're protecting. So I don't know what the exact distance was, but it's essentially like, let's say 30 feet around Charlie's perimeter was what our personal private security was able to take care of. So we were relying on campus PD to monitor the ingress, egress to the area and the rooftops. I want to know, why were they so accessible? And I know that I take a bunch of crap for this, but I want to know more about the rounds, the ammunition, the 30-06 rounds. I know that the comments are going to be filled with, it was not a 30-06, blah, blah, blah. Well, the ATF report confirms that the medical examiner confirms that it was. So I know that won't be enough for anybody, or at least a lot of people, but bear with me. Let's assume it was a 30-06. That is a powerful round. How old were the rounds? Were they hollow tip? Were they full metal jacket? I want to know everything. The point is that they broke into a bunch of different pieces inside Charlie, and that's partly the explanation, but I would love to know more information about that myself. And finally, was there a larger network? We hear about, armed queers of SLC. They took down a bunch of their social media immediately after. I want to know, was there money? Was there outside sources? Were there more people that were involved in planning this? Still have a lot of questions. Thankfully, we're getting a lot of answers too in the preliminary hearing, and I hope more come out.
The Pentagon has finally released the UFO files, reigniting questions over what exactly the U.S. government knows about extraterrestrial life. The bombshell FBI documents, released as part of the Trump administration's long-awaited UFO disclosure, detailed incidents spanning decades, from humanoid occupants reported in the 1960s to a dramatic confrontation involving intelligence agents in 2025. Among the files is chilling new footage showing a bizarre glowing object racing through the night sky. The 2013 footage, filmed by U.S. military personnel, appears to show an eerie 8-pointed star with shifting arms and a glowing trail behind it. What's particularly striking to investigators is the object's movement. The footage appears to show sudden changes in direction, rapid acceleration, and moments where it seemingly disappears before reappearing seconds later. Officials stress the footage alone is not proof of extraterrestrial life, and caution that infrared imaging can sometimes distort shapes and movement. While others believe the video was a biblical revelation, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna posted an image of a cherubim or an angel. Luna and other religious leaders suggest a biblical being is what was captured in the infrared video. The files also include one heavily redacted FBI report by a senior U.S. intelligence officer recounting a nighttime mission in a remote mountain range near a classified government site. According to the report, intelligence personnel, federal agents, and helicopter crews were dispatched after local staff repeatedly saw strange glowing orbs and hearing loud thuds near the mountains. With hundreds of videos and files now public, experts say the disclosure could fuel fresh scrutiny into unexplained aerial phenomena and how serious the military has been tracking them behind closed doors.
Do not stand by my grave and cry. I am not dead. I did not die.
Inside of the courtroom all week long, and she is in Provo, Utah. Chandler, what can we expect today? Are we finally going to get that video that we've been hearing for days of the romantic partner of Tyler Robinson?
Yeah. We are finally going to hear it, at least. We will not see it publicly on the live stream. That was the ruling as of late yesterday from the judge. That could even be modified again this morning when court gets underway in a couple of hours here in Utah. We shall see. But what the judge did rule, and it took all afternoon, guys, with the defense objecting on multiple grounds to keep this out of the public viewing. The priority of the prosecutors, who didn't really fight back a lot, or as much as I would have liked to have seen them in the courtroom, their goal ultimately is the judge seeing everything, because the judge is the one making the probable cause decision. As far as whether or not you and I see it or the public sees it, they deferred that to the judge. So ultimately the defense was able to run and make all of their arguments yesterday. Ultimately, the judge redacted 17 minutes, about 17 minutes of this 37-minute interview. And again, if you're not inside the courtroom, you may not even see the video at all. So
California remains one of the worst states to move to for the year 2026. A new Consumer Affairs report ranks the Golden State as the third worst state to move to. This is the third year in a row California was in the top three. New Mexico, Louisiana, they topped the list. Now, they determine the rankings based on affordability, safety, education, health care, and quality of life. California was dead last in affordability and second to last in safety. The best states to move to, New Hampshire and Utah.
I was discouraged, I have to be honest with you, because I always believed that what we had uncovered would change everything. And here it was, May 23rd of 2026. And so I wrote 2 letters. I only wrote 2 letters while I was in prison. I wrote another letter, 2 letters to President Trump. And I said, I'm really discouraged because of, it's almost like what I did didn't matter. And I went through all of this. Was it worth it? I had Jenna Griswold saying, if you'll just recount.
And she was Secretary of State of.
Yeah. Yes. She said in the very beginning, if you would just renounce, recant, repudiate what you said on Facebook Live about, and what I said was that these machines need to be more transparent to the people and not be allowed to do what they're designed to do. When I wouldn't, take that back, in essence, she went to a crooked judge, and had me removed from my elections office. And then I had another opportunity with a person that I knew, a close person to me, that had access to the Biden administration, that said, we can make all this go away. And it was like the devil coming to me with a deal. And I said, what would I have to do? Just say that you were mistaken. And I said, but I wasn't mistaken. And they said, well, I know, but just say that you lied. And I said, but I don't lie. Oh, everybody lies sometime. And I looked her right in the face and I said, I don't. And I believe that truth matters. My show is called The Truth Matters. And I believe that if you always tell the truth, you never have to worry about what you said. And at my age, that's very helpful. But, but what is the result of telling the truth? What are they going to do? When I was in prison, Lara, I stood up for the truth, and some people were very fearful. The women had been taught to be very fearful. And when I would try to help them and empower them, they would say, well, we're afraid. And they said, we're afraid for you. If you do this to help us.
Yeah.
And I said, what are they going to do? Throw me in prison? Oh, I'm there already. What are they going to do? Throw me in the hole? Not in there for jobs. It's never, it's never as bad to stand for the truth as it is to live in fear and hide and cower. That would be something that you cannot endure because you're living a lie. You're living a lie. And, we have a short time on this earth. And I remember I used to speak and say, all I want to hear at the end of my life is the words from God, well done, good and faithful servant. And one day I was speaking and I could hear the Holy Spirit in my head say, read the rest of that verse. And this is what I would say to anybody out there. It says, because you've been faithful in small things, I will give you governance over much. So when you look at life that way and you look at it kind of like an adventure, but that you are tasked with your own personal purpose, when you discover that purpose and you raise your hand and you say, pick me, you don't count the cost. It's like when a warrior goes into war, they don't count the cost. They don't say, well, I could die and maybe I shouldn't go. They say, I'm going to go do this because it's the right thing, a worthwhile thing to do. And, what I went through, I would never wish that on anyone. But look at what happened. I bring up our friend Charlie Kirk, right? As horrible as that was, the Bible says, unless a seed dies and falls to the ground, it can't produce much fruit. And what I've seen from me being in prison was more people speaking about it, more people seeing the injustice, more people hearing the truth. And that was because of the injustice done to me. So the suffering was great. It was a loss of over 2 years of my life, a loss of my husband. They tried to take my house. They, all the things that I experienced, but it's all for the cause. It really is all for the cause. And I don't know how to tell your listeners how important it is to be part of something great, to stand up and be part of something great, because that outweighs the cost that you have to endure. It really does.
A lot's going to depend on Greenland, and a lot. We'll make a very good deal on Greenland, and if we don't, maybe I will. And a lot's dependent on Iran. I mean, they want to help now. It's a little late to think, because essentially there's not that much fighting to be done. But some will depend on Iran. When they had a chance, an opportunity to help, they chose not to. So. but we're sort of forgetting about that. And now they want to help. They all want to go in. They want to help on Iran so badly, but we don't really need help. It's little things, but we don't really need it. But they really deserve it because they're saying they want to make a deal, but they don't. You know, they asked for a timeout. They wanted to go to the funeral of Khomeini, and I said, give it to them. And they start shooting missiles. I mean, it was a crazy thing. Now, we did kill him, yeah, so I guess you have to look at it that way. But the funeral took place, and they wanted to have a period of time, and they also asked that we not kill them. And we said, we're not going to kill you. They were worried we'd kill him during the funeral. I mean, if you can believe it, what a crazy... Did you ever think I'd be doing this for a living? Marco, did anybody ever think I'm doing... Maybe Pete, but this wasn't supposed to be for me. Pete loved this stuff from day one. But they said to us, please don't kill us during the funeral. I said, I won't. And we didn't do anything. In fact, we made it safe for them, actually. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with anything with this scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people.
Attention, please. May I have your attention? This is your new Ayatollah speaking. I thought I had told you not to try to cross my friggin' blockade, but you did. So now you get the discombobulator. The discombobulator is a big, beautiful weapon that basically makes your head explode and your testicles shrink to the size of little peanuts. Other than that, everything's going to be wonderful. Believe me. Anyway, get ready, bitches. Activating the discombobulator in 3, 2, 1.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رسالة إلى الشعب الفرنسي. إذا استمرت حكومتكم في دعم النظام الصهيوني بالأسلحة التي تستعمل لقتل إخواننا وإخواتنا فستراق دماء أبنائكم يوم 14 من تموز في باريس. نحن مستعدون للجهاد حتى آخر رجل بإذن الله تعالى.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has signed an executive order authorizing the construction of a memorial complex dedicated to members of the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, the UPA. Prime Minister Yulia Svyridenko confirmed that construction is expected to begin on July 11 in Volyn Oblast, near the city of Lutsk. The €70 million project will be funded by the European Union through the Ukraine Facility Mechanism. The central section of the complex will be dedicated to historical figures, including Mitro Klyachkivsky, Roman Shukovich, Andriy Melnik, and Stepan Bandera. The decision comes at a time when relations between Ukraine and Poland have reached one of their lowest points. In Poland, the UPA is widely condemned for its role in the Volhynia massacres, during which tens of thousands of ethnic Polish civilians were killed. The move follows another controversial decision in May 2026, when Zelensky named a military unit in honor of the heroes of the UPA. In response, Polish President Karol Nawrocki revoked Zelensky's Order of the White Eagle, the highest state honor of Poland.
We've got all the right in the world on our side, and there ain't no reason to be afraid, and there ain't no reason to not take the challenge dead on, because I'm going to tell you who we come from, folks. We don't come from some weak, jellyback, spineless people. That's not who we come from. None of us. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what nation your folks hail from, how much money you got. We all share the same name. We are Americans. And at Bunker Hill, there was Americans. And at Fredericksburg and Gettysburg, there was Americans. And at Iwo Jima, raising that flag on Suribachi, it was Americans. And at Pork Chop Hill, there was Americans. Quezon, there was Americans. And on 9/11, there was Americans who ran towards those burning buildings. That is who you share your heritage with. You do not share your heritage with a weak and ineffective people who cower at the sign of trouble. You share your heritage with a strong and brave people who are determined to hold on to their freedom and for the freedom of future generations. Guys, it's time for us to stand up and be that generation. It's time for us to stand strong and proud and remember who we are. That we are Americans. And as long as we stand as the vanguard of freedom in this nation, freedom will survive people. Not only survive, but thrive. So guys, it's time to put on our packs. It's time to fix those bayonets. It's time to get ready. We got a fight on our hands. And our fight is not for us, for all those generations that's going to come behind us. Let's save America, folks.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Announcing a new round of price reductions, lowering the cost of everything from fresh beef to summer clothing and toys. One of the biggest cuts, Walmart's ground beef roll, now priced down 14% to less than $6 a pound. The company also cutting prices on private label items like Great Value ice cream and disposable paper plates, along with select products from consumer giants including Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Frito-Lay's. Now, the announcement quickly drew President Trump's attention, who credited his administration for the move in a post on Truth Social, saying other retailers should follow Walmart's lead. But Walmart did not mention the president or his administration in its announcement. Now, for investors, the bigger story here is what price cuts say about margins for grocers and brands, as well as the health of the consumer.
That former LA mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt met with President Trump earlier this week. It took place Tuesday at the White House. Pratt posting a photo to social media showing him in the Oval Office. Pratt did not release details of the meeting. He wrote above the photo, "I will never stop fighting for my community." Pratt finished third in last month's mayoral primary election. President Trump has claimed without evidence that the election was rigged.
So this is happening in real time outside of the White House. This is the North Portico here on the North Lawn, and we had seen the scaffolding up here around those columns, and the White House had said that they were going through standard renovations, but now you're seeing this sheet go up. And so the question begs, is there something more that is being done here? Part of this is the White House just has not been transparent about their construction projects around the White House, from bulldozing the East Wing to the initial construction plans for the ballroom and how expensive it would cost, to the ripping up of the grass in the Rose Garden and replacing it with a Mar-a-Lago-like patio. Of course, upkeep and maintenance of the White House grounds is important and good, and I'm told by the White House that this is just standard stonework and crack repair. But of course, there are the questions, knowing that the White House has not been fully transparent over the course of the past months about their renovation plans here at the White House. And so for now, to the extent that we can with the new drive down, we'll keep an eye on this.
What I uncovered the other day in one of our spending bills making its way through Congress was a $1 million earmark from Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, which was an earmark that was supposedly going to a substance abuse clinic, which actually happened to be housed in a restaurant and run by 3 individuals that share the same residential address, according to their IRS paperwork. Tons of red flags. So this is what we saw with the fraud involving the daycare centers. Now we see other earmarks coming directly from members of Congress where it seems fraud is being perpetrated as well. So I raised the issue, and fortunately, the House has now stripped that earmark out of that spending bill. But again, this is how easy money has been flowing to bad actors in Minnesota.